Hola, Ale. Welcome back to another video. So today I found out that I haven't had a job since June 15th, 2021. So I haven't had a job in the last 3 years. So I haven't had a regular 9 to 5. I've been running my business Forever Real ever since June 15th, 2021, which is crazy to me. The thought process is that I've been an entrepreneur and I've been able to support myself, my family, and some of my friends just from this skill and from the business. And thank God for the opportunity and the ability to do this. Here recently I thought to myself, how would it affect the business if I was still a professor? How would I be able to run Forever Real and still be teaching if I still had that 9 to 5? And would it help the business or would it be a detriment to the business? And the thing that I realized is that if I had a 9 to 5, it would hurt my business. I ultimately left my 9 to 5 because it started to impact my work. When I was a professor, I was able to pretty much set my own schedule, show up whenever I wanted to. We had classes online so I could travel and continue to work. And I was also a professor during the COVID era, which was wild. So the school had a rule to say that if I traveled via plane, I had to quarantine for 14 days. At that time, the business was moving around from state to state, literally every single week. So I never came back. I would always just quarantine and teach via Zoom and allow me to travel from state to state and build my business because I had that flexibility. So I had the income from the school coming in and the income that was coming in from our different shoots. And I was able to balance the two because of COVID in that situation. The moment I decided to ultimately leave the 9 to 5 was when, one, it started to get into the way of the business, and two, when the business started to make more than they were paying me at the job. I was making exactly $50,001 a year when I was a professor. And then when I left, I made a total of $50K in the 2 preceding months. So I was able to completely supplement my yearly income in 2 months when I left the job. But the real reason that I left was it started to get in the way of business. So the way your class schedule works as a professor is your school or your department figures out what the need is. They look at the classes that you teach, and then they ask you what times would you be available to teach this class, and then you help them make a schedule that works for you. That's what had happened for every semester preceding the one that we were supposed to come back from COVID and be in person. That semester they called me in and said, hey, here's your schedule. I was like, okay, cool. I looked at it and it had me on campus Monday through Friday from like 8 a.m. to like 5 p.m. every single day. And the classes were just so spread out throughout the day to keep me on campus. I was like, hey, this doesn't work. It would completely hurt the business if I had to be in person Monday through Friday all day long. I couldn't go off and shoot until the weekends. That would cut into our income. I said, hey, this doesn't work for me. They said, oh, well, that's the schedule you have to keep. I said, oh, cool. Here's my 2-week notice. I'm out. I'm out. So that's why I left, because it would have impacted the business and I would have had to turn down shoots because of my work schedule. The benefit of being a professor was I could have all my classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays if I wanted, or I could just have Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes. I could have molded my schedule to fit whatever my typical client shoot dates were, but because of whatever situation they had going on, they wanted me there every day of the week, and that was not going to work for the business. So I realized that if I were to have that 9 to 5, it would hurt the business because it would take away my time that I would need to be shooting and traveling. I have to be in person and give my students my attention. Then it would take away my focus as well. I'm focused on my students, making sure they're learning. I'm prepping lectures, preparing tests and exams and grading them. It was a lot of work to be a professor, and so it took away from time that I need to put into and focus on Forever Real. So for me, a 9 to 5 wouldn't be beneficial and would hurt the business because it'd take me away from the business, limit the number of days that I could shoot, and then also take my time away where I'm focusing on student projects versus my actual client projects. But leaving your job is scary. It can be terrifying. I didn't leave my job until I saw that Forever Real could supplement the income that I was making at my job. $50,001 a year isn't a whole lot of money, so being able to supplement that from the business wasn't too hard. So basically I had to make a minimum $4,000 a month to get me close to what I was making when I was teaching. And for us at that time, I think each shoot day was like $1,200 a day. So basically I just needed 4 shoots to be able to supplement my income. So basically all I needed was 4 shoots to supplement the income that was coming in. A great way to help you pull away from your 9 to 5 and to build some stability is to find retainer clients who are willing to pay that set fee every single month. In this world of being an entrepreneur, you only eat what you kill. And if you didn't kill anything for that day, you don't eat. So there's a lot of uncertainty in this industry usually. Most people have no idea what's coming in each month. They just know somebody's gonna book me eventually and I'm going to be okay. My entire goal was to take that uncertainty out of the equation and to know exactly what I had coming in. I'm leaving a guaranteed job with great benefits, great insurance and everything, and I'm covered, and I'm deciding to bet on myself and pursue this job. I need to make sure the money's there to take care of myself and to make sure these bills are covered and my home is okay. So I knew I had to make at least $4,000 a month. So I had to find clients who were willing to pay that each and every month and put them on a retainer. And that's how I built stability for myself and guarantees, because I knew I at least had these 4 contracts that were gonna happen every single month, or at least for the length of their contract, to guarantee that I had that income coming in. My job was fun. It was cool. As a professor, I had a good time. I was young. The kids were young. They always wanted to test me to see what I knew, even if it had nothing to do with the class, and I always had to be on my toes, and it made me a better shooter, and it made me really learn the craft on a higher level so that I could be prepared for class. And I want to say it prepared me for this real world as well and put me in a position where I can handle dang near any situation. But I'm happy that I left my 9 to 5. And right now, a 9 to 5 wouldn't do anything but limit me and hinder the business, because I'd have to focus my time, attention, and be in person somewhere else outside of what we're doing with Forever Real. Because I don't have a 9 to 5, I have the time to focus on the business, to market, to network, to reach out to others, to build with others, to connect, and to continue to grow the business the way it's supposed to, as opposed to having limited windows of time to lock in and focus on the business. And I think there are a lot of people who can do both, but for me personally, getting a 9 to 5 would not help my business. It would not make me any better, and I'm so happy that I left. Great opportunity, love the people there, and I got several of my team members from that school, because my students learned how to edit and learn how to shoot how I like to edit and how I like to shoot, because there is no exact formula for how you're supposed to teach people in this industry. I was a television and film professor. I taught them how I like things done. Sure, they give you textbooks. Sure, they say learn this, read this, pass this test, whatever. We did that. But I always tell them that your real education is gonna come when you're out there on somebody's set and you're getting that real life experience. You wouldn't believe how many times I got yelled at on set. I was like, oh, the textbook said do this. And they're like, no, nobody does it that way. That's not how we do things. I was like, okay, then show me. And that's where you learn. So I say that to say, as a film professor, I train my students to do things the exact way that I wanted them done, so it was easy to transition them from students to my teammates and team members, and for them to work with me because they already understand my system. So I got some great things from that position, but it's not for me, and I never end up going back, if I'm being quite honest with you. So when is it right to leave your 9 to 5? I would say don't leave your 9 to 5 until you've built stability in your business. I would say don't leave your 9 to 5 until you know you can supplement that income, especially if you have a family, because you got to take care of yourself and you got to take care of them. So you want to make sure that that stability is there. Make sure that you have retainer clients. Make sure you know what's coming in every month, and then know your books and your expenses. You can't dive out into the world and be an entrepreneur if you don't know how much it costs you to live each and every month, because you don't know how much you need to make. You don't know what your operational costs are. How much is your mortgage? How much is your electric bill? How much is your internet bill? How many subscriptions do you have? How many subscriptions does it take to run your business? How much is your car note? How much is your insurance? Because technically that car is now a work vehicle for you as well, that you're gonna write off at the end of the year and the miles that you spent driving the shoots. You need to know your numbers, so when you decide to jump off the porch and quit your 9 to 5, you have stability, you understand how much it costs you to operate and to live, you know exactly how much you need to make to support and take care of your family. I think it's also important to have a plan. Know, this is what I'm gonna do, this is what I'm gonna shoot, and this is how I'm going to bring in my income. This is how I'm gonna make my money. I know I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna shoot 3 to 4 events a month. I know I'm gonna get out here and shoot 4 weddings a month. I know I'm gonna get out here and shoot graduations, whatever. Know what you're shooting, who your clientele is, and how you're gonna pursue them. You're not going to be shooting cap and gown graduations all year long. So you're going to stack your bread during that period and then coast during the other seasons? Or are you gonna dive into something else during the slow seasons? How are you going to keep that cash flow coming in? You need to have a plan and to understand your niche, your numbers, and what it costs you to run your business. So before you ever jump off the porch and quit that 9 to 5, know what it costs you to move, survive, and live, and it's so important. And then lastly, sometimes I think you just need faith. That you have to have faith in yourself to know that I'm going to make this work, to know that God got me and we're gonna figure this out. He gave me the talent, he gave me the ability. Let's get out here and work and make it work for ourselves. There are some people who just get out there, jump off the porch, and they're good to go, but that's not everyone. And I don't advise most people to do that. Don't just dive in there and say, I'm gonna figure it out, and quit your job cold turkey with no clients. Please don't. Please don't do that. Some people can, but I don't advise that you do that because then you force yourself into a rough patch and you have no choice but to figure it out. And that does work for some people. Some of us are built like that, but I don't recommend it. So know your numbers, set yourself up, have clientele in place, know your niche, and know where your money is going to come from and how you're going to maneuver through these slow periods because they do come for all of us. So that's why I left my 9-to-5. And those are some things that you should look for before you decide to leave your 9-to-5. And for some people, you can do both. For some people, you can work your 9-to-5 and still manage your business and everything work out. I'm not one of those people and it wasn't working for me, but for some people it works. So thank you for tapping in. I appreciate y'all for watching and continue to take in some of this real bad advice.